Dumelang re la amogela mo go Daily Thetha on SABC1. Nakalina ke na Nicolette wa Ramashile kgarebe ya kwa Bushbuckridge Mapulaneng. Melody ke nagana people, young women who are doing really well from South Africa across the board. I'm thinking about the likes of Nomhla o nagana bo Thuso Mbedu, because these are people that we know, we've seen them move from South Africa and go. But I've got a friend, right? She got married to a German gent, and then after getting married to a German gent, she went all the way to Germany and studied a law degree in German.
Wait, ushukuthi ufunde Germany while learning a new degree.
Mamela, she learns a new language. Over learning a new language, she also then did a law degree in that language.
I know, it's cock. I go Kogun.
That's what we're talking about. We're looking at young black women who have gone abroad to actually really excel in what they do. Now, of course, we're very accustomed as young South Africans, especially women, with a double jeopardy of being black, but also being female. A study that says for every 3 hours, a black woman is killed in South Africa. Now, how do you go against these types of odds, being able to make it in your country, but also make it abroad? Now, of course, we cannot speak about these women and celebrate them without mentioning those whose lives were just cut short before they could even find their feet.
And the goes about people who never got the opportunity to fully live to their full potential. Makhaya who are doing not just locally but internationally. And you can see them making strides not in the world of fashion but also in the world of corporate. And this is something Tina as we want to look at, we want to honor these women. As in ngempela nemapoze emapozeni kodwa sithi mhlawumbe kunepoza umuntu sifazana omaziyo who's doing really well that you'd like to teach us about. Mhlawumbe ngasembonanga, please utilize inkundla zethu zokuxhumana #DailyThetha on all 3 platforms, Instagram, Facebook and Twitter, and let us know who they are. Alternatively, ungasendela ke imessage ku WhatsApp ku 0723161329, alternatively 011 339-1315. Nayo ke lento. Kodwa Nicolette, wena umuntu who wears different hats. I mean, you're a host, you're an entrepreneur, you are a sister, you are professionally also not just a speaker, but you're a financial teacher. How do you do it?
But I mean, it's easier to do all those things in South Africa, eh? Because sometimes you can devil, language, you know. But I just always wonder if I go American, I'm finding myself in America, and all of a sudden I gotta excel in everything that I do already in South Africa. But all my references are South African. Everything I know is South African. Pop culture is South African. How do you make it another country? Not only even just the entertainment, but imagine being a doctor. Imagine working in advertising. And we actually have quite a lot of young black South Africans who are working abroad.
Those who are doing exactly that. And you get to speak to a model who's not just into modeling just for her, but just her space in Botswana, where she was born, but South Africa to win our hearts, but not just our hearts alone, to go on into the European space and also make her name for herself. Namja just told you to Kaone waga Kario, who gets to teach us and take us through her journey. Of course, Kaone, welcome to Daily Thetha.
Kaone, good morning.
Kaone?
Kaone, good morning.
Yes, as we're still trying to get on the line, I was just reading about Umsebenzi Kaone, and she's actually a face on one of the local products, skincare products, Dzunisani.
I'm always shocked by Kaone, 19 years old, face of Africa. Can you imagine at that time when you are literally just bursting into the scene? Kaone, good morning. Good morning, Kaone.
Well, I think Joba silently about international young women that are doing well. Who comes to mind? Give us a call on 011-339-1315. We'd love to hear from you. But also, don't forget, say fundi Facebook yako, ne WhatsApp, ne Twitter. Nicolette, who's the one woman that stands out for when
Look, I mean, we're getting to speak to Dr. Dzunisani Ngobeni, who is a vet all the way in the UK. Can you imagine being somebody or thushang diphoofolo. Most South Africa, Mona, when you talk about vets, it's not something that you always associate with a black woman.
And right? Serious. And I'm saying this as an opinion, but it's a vet. Oh wow, okay. Kodwa.
Uyazi vet in melody. Ngathi awuyazi.
Hayi cha ibo. Usho dokotela usebenza ngeyilwane. Usho kanjani?
How many vets do you know though?
Yazini, i-Africa kafika. No, ngiyadlala. But no, to be honest, I actually know 2 vets. One who is still studying, also they're not fully qualified. Kodwa lo engimaziyo umuntu who's actually not of umbala wethu, you know. But so I think it makes us then also look at how we can bridge the gap today, like with Thetha, on how there's certain job profiles that we actually have that don't get profiled and be given that love. I mean, cabanga uba ukwazi ukuba udokotela osebenza ngezilwane in the UK and ekhaya azange babone ukuthi unalento le ukuthanda umsebenzi wakho.
And I think it's quite interesting because every time ranagana about people going overseas, as I already mentioned, we always think about people going there in entertainment. But we also have Ayanda Madonsela, who's gone overseas and she's working there. And I mean, she needs to tell us because I think that's really important. Ayanda, welcome to Daily Thetha.
Hi, how are you?
We are fantastic. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
It's lovely to have you. Maybe tell us a little bit, Ayanda, what is it that you are actually doing in Abu Dhabi? I mean, we think about Abu Dhabi, holiday, Rona. What is it that you are doing there?
Well, currently I am a senior category management specialist for a company called Nawa Energy. So Nawa Energy is a nuclear power plant, and a category management specialist is a role within the organization in the supply chain.
And then Ayanda, ufika kanjani Abu Dhabi? What was happening in South Africa? Were you not finding any employment, or did you get seconded for Abu Dhabi?
I am battling to hear you, Nicolette. Can you just repeat yourself?
My sincerest apologies to you and our viewers at home. Abu Dhabi. What was happening? Were you battling to find work in South Africa? Kapa, it was just an opportunity.
Okay, well, fortunately for myself, there was already a colleague of mine who had already been working for the company in supply chain, which I previously worked with her in Sasol. She then told me that, hey, they're actually looking for more supply chain professionals to come this side. I submitted my CV, they looked at it, and they looked at my LinkedIn profile, which was actually very important. And then after that, they had an interview with myself and said, hey, we like your skills. We're actually looking at implementing the current skill that you have in using a system called SAP. Even though I was not so familiar with the nuclear industry because I was in the oil and gas, but because of the other skills that I have, they told me that let's give it a try. Come over.
Hlambe, was this always iphupho obonalo ukuthi usebenze phesheya? Because I know you've traveled, you've been to the UK, you've been to Nigeria. But I
think I'm losing the connection. I cannot hear a thing.
Sithi sipolisa again, sis Ayanda nakhona kumbukeli kube ngazuthi network lapha iyaphazamiseka. Hlambe ungangizwa kangcono manje siswami? So ebengibuza ukuthi bekuyisifiso sakho all the time ukuthi nje ukwazi ukuthi usebenze phesheya, knowing that you have been to countries like Nigeria, the UK. Was this always your dream?
Absolutely, and mostly I always say that we manifest what we already have within us. You know, you grow up and you say that I want to go internationally to visit, but as soon as you are within the supply chain and you start engaging with different suppliers from different countries and you engage with different nationalities, you're like, I would actually like to go see how they do it abroad, to be able to bring those skills back home, but more so to enrich myself, to just have that broader perspective when it comes to international and knowing where the things come from, where they're going, and how I can actually contribute to the greater good. So I would say definitely it was something that I had within me, and it aligned.
Usis Ayanda umuzwa-ke lapho. Sicela uhlale nathi Sis Ayanda because we're going to take a quick ad break, but when we come back we also get to bring in Usis Nomhla, who also is a performing artist who is based internationally. Naye azosifakela kancane ukuthi yena what are her experiences in her craft and profession. Stay with us. Welcome back to Daily Thetha Lago SABC 1. What a pleasure ukuthi sahleli nawe namhlanje. Sakhuluma nje ukuthi abantu besifazana abasasebasha were doing brilliantly well in the world, but not just in the world. From qualifications like kunesisho la ku Daily Thetha sinasho bathi locally made but globally great. And this is like a qualification for Sofano Ayanda Madonsela from the University of Johannesburg to be working now in Abu Dhabi. Ngempela she is showing ukuthi cha zangu zodlala. Sahleli nawe sis Ayanda. Ayanda, thank you. And yet again, what a great opportunity you have. What have you felt since moving there in terms of your career?
I have felt an immense growth and a challenge. And I say growth in the sense that I work for a multinational, a multicultural organization. So by being here, you need to stretch yourself, not just only with your skills and what you already know, but stretch yourself as in your character, because you need to now communicate with people that have a different culture, people that have a different background. So I would say it has been true growth. And I feel very grateful that I was afforded this opportunity to be here and be able to grow myself and also be able to retain the skills that you learn from all the people that you encounter, because there's people that have years of experience and people that actually are even starting out in the industry. So just to put that together, implement it and run with it, it's been amazing.
And what are the stereotypes abantu who are still studying that they have about working internationally?
I think it's currently filled with the fear of unknown. So people that are studying that do want to come abroad, because there's currently a lot of scams, if I may put it so. I've also been receiving a lot of questions saying, hey, I've got this opportunity. Is this company valid? Since you work that side, do you know anything? And to find out that it's not even like that. It's people that are just chances. So most people just have the fear of the unknown, but want to. So if there's more legitimate routes and more knowledge about it, they'll be definitely open, because the market and the world is ready for us. So they should just do their research and be familiar and know what they want to do and how to get there.
And perhaps maybe how do you manage to make sure qualification it's not something that you feel a little bit inferior about, because we are a third world country in South Africa. When you're now competing globally, you've almost got to put your best foot forward in terms of qualification, your personality. It's a big mix. How do you ensure that you've got that X factor?
That's a very good question. And having studied in the University of Johannesburg, so when you study and pick your courses, you would not know if you are then globally marketable. But then fortunately, by being in the good institutions that South Africa does have to offer, when you arrive this side, you find that people are they're well educated. So what you do, as soon as you get your foot in the door, don't stop. That's what I did. That's why I am now a certified international supply chain professional. I ensure that I need to get more combined with my talent in order to take me all the way through. Because you will encounter people that come from Canada, the UK, the US that speak something totally different. And as soon as you're awake to that, you just need to wake yourself up. In order to stay, in order to endure, in order to run the race, you need to train, and that is mentally, physically, and emotionally by getting that education as well.
Sis Ayanda, ngithemba ukuthi you are mentoring amantombazane nawo asakhula, because ulwazi onalo cha sis wami ayikhasakhalelisela. I'm super proud to be able to hear you speak. Like nami inspired as umjita ukuthi you know what, just push. So sibonge sis Ayanda Madonsela for being with us la ku Daily Thetha.
Thank you.
So
thank you very much. And yes, I am.
Oh, fantastic. Yabonake.
Do you mentor people?
Yeah, no, cool.
And I think that's great. I think, can you imagine having somebody odulang overseas, working overseas, being able to overcome, and not only because Viola Davis said that, you know, when you're a black woman, it's not only just your qualification that matters. It's also working double the amount of work and the effort that you have to put in. So I think it's quite exciting to know that there are young women who are doing really well.
And yes, so who are doing very well. Kunentokazi zisuke eThekwini laphaya bayibiza ngoNomhla, who is a performing artist based in Germany, but abaningi bazwa ivoice yakhe, but they've never sometimes actually even seen her face. I guess thathe thuba sibone umsebenzi yena wenzayo. Have a look.
what a voice, what a voice. Because sometimes when you listen to other people, you actually ask yourself, when it comes to the voices, that is the voice of Nomhla Beryl. But I have a confession before we introduce Nomhla.
Yeah?
So
wenzeni khona?
No, so Lion King, right? I didn't know Lion King. In actual fact, they started at all. Right? When they did the remake with Beyonce, that was the first time.
I
promise you. And that's the work that Nomhla does, right? On stages, she's a performing artist. And sometimes you don't know the voices behind the characters, but these are the people that bring the characters to life. And she is the voice behind Rafiki.
Yeah.
How absolutely amazing is that? Based right now in Hamburg, Germany. Nomhla, as I said, is a performing artist. And she's just made her mark across the world, but also very well known in South Africa for the work that she does. Nomhla, welcome to Daily Thetha.
Hi, Nicolette. Thank you so much.
Sure. Where does that voice come from, Nomhla? It's a guy, that voice.
I think it comes from God.
Yeah.
I can only say it comes from God. And then in Fuzuma, my mom was also a singer when she was younger.
Is it?
Yazi Nomhla mina ngiyibonile lento vele ke ngaseThekwini inetalent nje vele nje into zethu nje ike ngaseThekwini.
Basho kanjalo, yes.
But maybe Nomhla, you can tell us now, where does the career of performing and being this lived person on stage and in theater, it's a guy, where did that dream come from? Where did the yearning come from?
You know, it's funny. When I was younger, I actually wanted to be a biomedical technologist. I wanted to do, because I was very good in science and I was very good in biology and I was very good in maths when I was in high school. And I represented South Africa in this international performing arts festival and I won. And I looked okay, maybe I could make a career out of this. Otherwise, I was singing in church as well in the worship team. But so many of the church with were such amazing performers. One of them is Thetha and the other one is Ndogo Zombambo. So I never thought I was anything special. But when I won the competition, I basically just was the stage at that time.
Nomhla, perhaps maybe the exposure in the 8th grade, did that play a role in you knowing and believing that you could make it outside of South African borders?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, 100%. Because my first trip was to New York. That was the very first time I went outside of South Africa. And overseas on TV, but akufani nokuthi uye khona. Ngathi mase ngikwazi ngithola lethu ukuthi ngiye khona in New York. I was like, oh my God, there is an entire big world outside of South Africa. And then uthando lwami lokuhlala phesheya lwaqhamuka lapho, because I was like, you know, the world is so big. I want to explore. I'm also a big traveler even to this day. I love discovering new things and traveling.
Nomhla njengomkhaya siyazi ukuthi iningi laseThekwini liqala ePlayhouse in terms of the theater. To find your career as uRafiki now on the Lion King stage production, kuze kanjani lokho?
I went to the auditions every year. Kuba khona auditions at Lion King in Durban, in Cape Town, in Joburg, and sometimes in Eastern Cape as well. Nam ngaya lapho. And my first audition actually was for The Lion King in South Africa, which was in 2006 or 2006 or 2007. But then in Germany in 2008 instead.
And would you say that, and just as humble, would you say that right now you're living your dream? Because we are now after the ad break, but I just want to know, are you living your dream?
I'm absolutely living my dream.
I know,
I'm so grateful for that.
Since it's such an ad break, after the ad break, we get to continue the conversation with more amazing and brilliant young women who are doing greatly abroad.
You say we're young and entitled. Others say we're ignorant, lazy, and misinformed. Maybe you just don't get us. We were carved from the stones that they threw at our parents. For every Shambok strike they took, we stride forward. We emerged from the tear gas that was meant to destroy those who fought for our rights. Guided by the voices that sang during the struggle to free us, We walk with conviction in the direction of our dreams and our ancestors' wildest dreams. We're a lot of things, but ordinary isn't one of them. We are creative and innovative. We are fearless and provocative. We defy the odds and challenge social norms. We're young, but we're not your ordinary. Daily Thetha, celebrating Youth Month.
Joby Show, we are young and we are definitely not afraid. We are creative. And kanjalo nje sithi hleli la ku Daily Thetha, speaking to young creative, speaking to young hearts that chase the lion, which is iphupho labo, but also speaking to the likes of Abu Nomhla, who are people who are based now in Germany as a performing artist. Imagine Lion King sasibuka as ingane on TV, sasibuka as as a mapopai, and then one day to hear ukuthi intombazane yaseThekwini goes and does a live stage production of Lion King in Germany. That is an absolute dream. Sahleli naye, of course, Nomhla, who is still with us.
Nomhla, welcome back to
Hi,
Daily
Nicolette.
Thetha. Welcome back.
Thank you.
South Africa is scourged by gender-based violence right now. It's not looking great. Should young women be looking for opportunities abroad? Is that a way to escape?
I mean, I think young women should pursue their dreams wherever they want to pursue their dreams. But I think you shouldn't be forced to leave your own country, your home, because men cannot stop killing women. I really, what's happening in South Africa is truly heartbreaking. I have tried to lend my voice and my resources in trying to help the situation. But at the end of the day, it's really up to the men to stop, to basically just stop. And I do absolutely encourage women to look outside of the borders of South Africa. If that's really something that you want to do, don't be afraid to leave the country to pursue your dreams.
And Nomhla, before Sekdedela Siswami, last question. What has been your biggest challenge in your pursuit of greatness, Lona Ilamhlanj?
Of course, being away from my family, being away from everything that I know. The thing is, Germany is completely different from South Africa. You know, every time it's okay, what are the similarities between Germany and South Africa? I always say it's like black and white, literally. There's nothing, whatever is good in South Africa is bad in Germany. Whatever's good in Germany is bad in South Africa. It's that different. So, I had to basically start a brand new life. I had to learn a brand new language because Germans don't really communicate in English. They basically just speak German, which is a foreign language. It's a little bit like Afrikaans, but it's really just a tiny bit. So that was my greatest challenge, learning the language, because when you don't understand the language, it's almost impossible to integrate into the society and into the culture. And once I learned the language, I was able to appreciate the German culture, first of all, and also to start my own business in Germany.
Nomhla, sibonga kakhulu ukuthi ukwazi ukuxoxa nathi. Congratulations on i-career yakho siswami. Phinde futhi uqhubeke uphakamisa i-South African flag. Hey, siyabonga. Nazintokazi madoda. Kodwa sithi from one superstar to another. Nangu Sis Kaone that we tried to speak to a bit earlier, kodwa ke sabanjwa i-network. Ngathi simtholile. Sis Kaone, welcome to Daily Thetha.
Dimela hlabathong la nkutwa.
Siyakuzwa finally. Yebo, hey, injabulo. How?
Dimela, good morning to your listeners too. Thank you so much for having me.
Kaone, let's jump straight into our conversation. Ribulele about the African face. The black face has not always been termed to be beauty. How does a young girl like you then make it into the world of modeling, fashion? I mean, no actor, low actor. How do you make it?
You know, luck and God, I guess. Look, I was very fortunate that when I came in, I didn't know much. I didn't know much about the business, so I could just kind of hand myself over. And when I started, there were not a lot of models that looked like me. Like now, black is beautiful, our hair is beautiful, our, but when we started, it wasn't that case. You just get involved, Nicolette, because I can't fight my skin. I look the way that I look. I am the way that I am. So if you want me, this is it, right? So you kind of learn to occupy the space. So I learned a long time ago to be what I am because it's honestly just easier, really.
And I mean, you've made it in Botswana, you moved to South Africa, you've gone international. Perhaps maybe tell us a little bit about your journey so far and how it's been for you personally. Is this something you've always wanted to do?
Baby, I wanted to be on television. I wanted to be a TV presenter for KTV when I auditioned for Face of Africa.
Yeah.
Which then turned into a model. I really just wanted a career in television. I didn't know what it was because I grew up in a village and all you see is this thing you want to be inside of.
Yes.
So then I win a modeling competition and of course it exposes me to all kinds of people. So as I progressed with it, with the fear, with the doubts and everything, you start to meet models from Germany, from New York, from Paris. And you're like, wait a minute, I can go there. I can go there. I have a passport. And then there's just the thing. Eventually, you're just, for me, actually, really, curiosity. When I went to New York, I just thought, I don't want to wonder. I don't want to be the girl that wakes up one day and says, what would have happened had I just gone? So I went, and I found out. So I go and I find out.
Kaone,
I'm afraid, baby. I do it afraid.
in South Africa, modeling akusinto esingathi abantu bayithatha serious. You know, besiyenza modeling nambe ngimodela ngisasemncane ngisaseyigeng, but you know, it was something that we did for fun. Oh, let me bring it back in English. So what I'm saying is that when I was also younger, I was someone who saw modeling as a fun activity to do, but never as a profession, I would say, as a young black child. Here you are today living that dream. How do you think we can change the perception we have when it comes to modeling in South Africa?
Oh, it's always been the case. You know, there's always the assumption that it's just freely good, it's just freely ratameka. We laugh at the bank. When you guys treat us like idiots, we laugh all the way to the bank. Fine. You know? I'm getting paid for this, so it's okay. Like, at some point in my own psyche, I had to make peace with the fact that society consumed me with that assumption. It took me being in the business to understand this is a business. I'm at work here. I'm working. I come for you knowing that I'm working. I'm participating in a story. So it's a performance in so many ways. So
And let's talk a little bit about imposter syndrome. We know for young black women, but issues like colorism. There's so many issues that being a young, I mean, we talk about the double jeopardy. You know, you are black and you are female. How are you? How did you, especially in the early ages, deal with imposter syndrome?
Hey, baby, honestly, guys, you have to walk through it. Like, I think a lot of us sometimes wait for this nirvana moment where all of a sudden you're free from imposter syndrome, free from self-doubt, free from fear. I'm not there yet. I have to climb on top of that imposterness.
Yeah.
Because if I wait for that, me to feel like this is my life, it may never happen. So I think for me, it's in there, I walk with it. And I use it to shatter the doubt. So you go where the imposter saying, don't go there. It's the only way to shut that voice out, honestly, because if you don't do that, it buries you. There's no way through it but on top of these things, doubt, the self-doubt, the imposter.
I like that. I like what you just said on Palamautamai. There used to be a show in South Africa about Nomhla, maybe it's Zama Zama. You remember Zama Zama?
Zama Zama.
Did you know Zama Zama, Kaone? I mean, you lived in South Africa.
Wait, the minors, wait.
I like this that attitude. You just try, raga raga.
And maybe before we...
One of the things that really truly gives me comfort, I can always come home.
Yes. Yes.
And probably before we let you go, what is the one thing that you think defines us as young people as we're still celebrating Youth Month in South Africa? In one word, what would you say it is?
Formidable.
Oh.
You're a force.
That's beautiful. Kaone, thank you so much for Leboga and everything that you have shared today. I'm sure there is a young South African, someone from Botswana, someone from Swaziland. Everybody's watching Daily Thetha right now and thinking, I am Kaone, I embody Kaone.
Thank you so much, Sisi. Hey, Nicolette, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
It's because when you think back into the day, how men used to be at the forefront of the workspaces. Hey, women are taking up the spaces. Now, yes, my sister is a doctor in the United States, and she's been a doctor there for 6 years. # Daily Thetha. And medical space actually sees a lot of people going internationally. It's also beautiful to see how we are growing in the world of the arts. With another amazing young woman to celebrate.
You say we're young and entitled. Others say we're ignorant, lazy, and misinformed. Maybe you just don't get us. We were carved from the stones that they threw at our parents. For every Shambok strike they took, we stride forward. We emerged from the tear gas that was meant to destroy those who fought for our rights. Guided by the voices that sang during the struggle to free us, we walk with conviction in the direction of our dreams and our ancestors' wildest dreams. We're a lot of things, but ordinary isn't one of them. We are creative and innovative. We are fearless and provocative. We defy the odds and challenge social norms. We're young, but we're not your ordinary. Daily Thetha, celebrating Youth Month.
Absolutely not your ordinary on Daily Thetha Lago SABC 1. If you missed it just before you had break, besikhuluma noSisi abasebenza kweze entertainment. Bona bachaza ukuthi in the world of modeling, in the world of being a performing artist, kwamanye amazwe basebenzela kanjani ordinary girls who are not ordinary in the world because they have put their foot down and said, listen, we are here to make it a point. Sithi ke sibuke ku social media ukuthi ke nithini lamhlanje ohleleni lethu na umlayezo phuma kuzi indodakazi yamangethe uthi my dream is to work overseas not because I want that praise from my neighborhood, friends and family that I'm working international. No, but I want to explore more about other countries and learn to work with diverse people. Going back to Daily Thetha's statement, I have known no one working abroad.
I think that's quite interesting because before I even came to Gauteng, one of the things that we always used to say, Gauteng, man, Joburg, you know. So Joburg was always like a big thing for a lot of us. And then now all of a sudden you leave Johannesburg and you go overseas and it's like, oh, another world out there. And I think there's many young South Africans, and I'm appealing to whoever is watching Daily Thetha, they must pull out that inspiration from these young women. There's another world out there.
Yes, Nicolette Nkuna, I never thought I'll ever go internationally. And as just a young person, I never thought as a MC, in Amsterdam, your MC in Amsterdam. For me, that was crazy. This is something that is real, but we have people who are working in the corporate world who find it hard in South Africa to start their career, to grow in the ladder. To hear about someone like Nyeleti who is doing it internationally, that is something that we need to celebrate. Nyeleti Su Angel Nkuna, who is in the world of corporate. And corporate is something that is not easy, but she's not just in corporate. With each job title, what is her role? What is she doing abroad? Sis, welcome to Daily Thetha.
Hello, how are you? So thankful for having me on your show today, Melody and Nicolette. How are you guys doing?
Hello, Nyeleti Su Angel. And I think maybe we can go
so you said you wanted to know?
Yeah, I think maybe restart more. Now, what is your actual role? What do you do?
All right, I always get this question because a key account manager can mean many different things with many different companies. But in the company that I work for, which is AWM Network, a key account manager is predominantly a sales role. So I'm responsible for the acquisition of new business partners to our company. And that includes the entire sales cycle from prospecting to negotiating deals to closing the deal. And a lot of our work has to do with relationship management. So making sure that our clients are spending more money with us, that they're happy with the product and the services that we provide for them. And that should result in a low cancellation rate, and that the company is increasing its product revenue. So that's essentially what I do for the company.
But Nyeleti, are you actually in the office right now? You must tell everybody to turn around and wave. They must wave. I mean, you're all the way in Denmark. It is. I mean, this is what we're doing. We're connecting the world, and I think it's so beautiful to be able to see a young South African in a country like Denmark. Tell us a little bit about the transition now, going umuvela ko Denmark. What are the cultural shocks that you were experiencing? Language. Babua eng futhi ko Denmark.
So they speak Danish in Denmark.
Yeah.
I've been here for 4 years now. So I came in 2016, and initially it was to complete my MBA. So I started my MBA at Wits University, and I finished my electives at Copenhagen Business School, where I studied electives in international business. So I think some of the cultural differences has to do with the fact that a friend of mine once said that I'm a summer bird in a winter country. So there's a lot of different cultural nuances in Denmark that are different to South Africa. So I mean, it has to do with being more subtle at work, while I am naturally more expressive, and I use my hands when I speak, and you can just see my expressions. So having to calm that down for the office environment here has been one of the things that I've had to kind of learn. But also, I mean, they're just different. It's a different culture altogether. Denmark is a lot easier than South Africa, I think. It's a lot more, paced down, it's easygoing. But meanwhile, I mean, I miss the vibe in South Africa. I miss the people and our expressions, but you adjust to something different.
I mean, Nyeleti, the population of Denmark is 97% white. And I mean, knowing as we come from a country that was going through a sense of oppression, is cutting apartheid, would you say you were afraid when you had to go into that country and make a name for yourself?
Fear was never a part of it. I mean, I never had any sense of fear for racism or the fact that I'm Black in a predominantly white country. The fact that it was through my education that brought me here. I knew that I was in equal space with my classmates and later my colleagues, that I had as much to offer the classroom or the work environment as they did. And so I never saw my color as a barrier.
Usaba lemang, Nyeleti, Usaba lemang. I mean, your family's all the way in South Africa. You day in, day out. Usaba lemang. Who are you talking to? Who are your friends? Have you had to make new friends?
Yeah, I mean, I have, it's an important question you're asking, because I think it's quite important to connect with the expert community. There are other South Africans here in Denmark, and there are other people from, in different parts of Africa or in the UK, America. So there's a big international community. So that was important to kind of have friends that shared my experiences. But at the same time, I think part of being in a different country is learning the culture, making friends with the Danes and learning their language and eating what they eat and enjoying what they enjoy. So my friends are a mixture of local people as well as the expert community.
If you could just drop a message as we close to a young person watching right now, what would your brief message be?
My message to a young person is that your race, your gender, your age even shouldn't be a barrier of where you want to go in life. Our inabilities is mostly a mental handicap. We're celebrating Youth Month, and it's our freedom today is a result of many people that, took the shambox and the beatings and the guns for our freedom. So we should use that as a thing of emancipation, that there's nothing that we should not be able to do. I think of like my own parents, they started businesses, they were entrepreneurs, they were the first of many things, and that gave me confidence that I can do so much, and they did it with very little resources. They didn't have the educational background that I have, they had limited opportunities, but they paved the way that me and my siblings and other people could benefit from the hard work that they had.
One thing I just want to say, just to jump in there, ngoba sesishawe isikhathi, unfortunately, is thank you. Thank you for chasing your dream. Sabonga kakhulu Nyeleti Nkuna there. And of course, after the ad break, we go and we also look at umsebenzi of uDokotela Ngobeni, who works ngeilwane, and she's a doctor weilwane, and she explains to us how that works for her in the UK. Welcome back to Daily Thetha. Noma seyipheli show bohlambu safika or sangena endlini, it's okay. Sihlezi nawe. Do remember to follow the hashtag Daily Thetha, where you'll be able to go to ubambe inkulumo yethu namhlanje celebrating abantu besifazane abasasebasha. We're doing phenomenal things in different spheres. But not just that. Abantu besifazane who are really working hard at breaking the barriers of our past but creating a new future. And I just want to say, Nicolette, abantu besifazane cha niyashaya.
10-0. 10-0. Women doing well and living their best lives anywhere in the world is something that I am here for. We're definitely our ancestors' wildest dreams, and we've got a social media coming in from the finest Puti. Our biggest dream is to work in Cuba, and it is not because I want to be known as someone who works overseas. It is not about getting the attention. I just want to learn different things from other countries. Hashtag Daily Thetha, traveling and learning abroad is a great thing for young upcoming generation, especially in our country. I'm a little worried though with the social media. It's almost similar to the other one.
Yeah.
And there's a thing where people feel when they work overseas, it's about praising and getting the praise.
But you do get praise.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be about that only. And I guess that's what they say. About that only, right?
But why not? I mean, it should be the basis. England, England,
when abazali bakho ngilaba ukuthi umelodi manager.
Yes, maybe Dr. Ngobeni will be able to explain. She is, of course, a doctor. She is a udokotela osebenza ngeilwane, and she joins us today, currently based in the UK. Dr. Ngobeni, welcome to Daily Thetha.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, Dr. Ngobeni, it is an absolute pleasure today, all the way from Essex in the UK. How is it there? How is the weather?
The weather is actually quite friendly so far. When I got here, it was freezing, guys. I was just dying.
But
now it's the summer. I didn't actually need Bashirabi. But now it's getting warmer. It's like the winter. The summer here is the winter in SA.
Yeah.
Dr. Dzunisani praise Ngobeni. We have a saying at Daily Thetha that says that locally made, globally great. Someone like you, who is from the streets of Guyana, and you're going all the way to the UK. Let's go back home and what led you to leave home and go pursue the career you have today?
When I was in grade 11, I knew that I wanted to work with nature and the outdoors, but I hadn't quite pinned it down. And then one of these scouts came to our school in high school at Kanyisa Education Center and basically explained the course to us. And I thought, oh my gosh, there's so much possibility with this. I loved animals, I loved nature, and I just didn't know there was such a career until I was exposed to it. And then I realized you could do so much with it. You could do industry, wildlife, farming, small animals, private practice, pharmaceuticals. It was just an entire world that I could explore and not get bored, because obviously, you want to be stimulated continuously. So that's what I went into it for. But also for community development, the fact that there was no vet. There was one in Guyana, but we didn't have enough to cover the area. Farmers didn't have enough help with their cattle and their livestock. So that's what I initially went into it for, to go back home and then help in my community. Unfortunately, other avenues opened up for me, but my heart was to go back home and do that.
Dr. Ngobeni, when you think about a vet, you think about a man first and foremost. Here you are not only a vet in South Africa, we waifitisa, we yisa go UK. How did the opportunity when we go UK come about?
When we're studying at university, you hear of veterinarians who work overseas and the fact that our degrees recognized in the UK. So it's a common thing you hear on campus, and of a lot of colleagues who have gone over, but I'd only heard of white colleagues. I had one friend who was a black colleague who'd gone over, but for the most part, it was pretty much unheard of us to do that because it's an unknown, it's scary, you don't know anyone, but also the fact that veterinary science itself, you are already a minority within the industry. It's not that even take that and go overseas is even crazier. But I love exploring and I love learning new things. I love cultures. I love people. So for me, it came naturally to say, okay, I've done South Africa. I've learned as much as I can here. Where do we grow to next?
Break the barriers. You are doing exactly that. For you, what are some of the barriers that you feel that are still existing, especially for young women in South Africa?
Sure. South Africa is still very much a racially biased country. Especially now that I've come to a different country, I realize how bad the racial discrimination is still entrenched in our culture as a country. So when I was in university and also starting to work in private practice, I encountered a lot of racial prejudice in the sense that people most of the time were surprised to see my face. Most people assumed I was the nurse or the help. People would be actively surprised to see me as the vet. And there were some instances where I'd have owners who would not want me to treat their patients. And then there are other instances where owners were surprised and were expecting me. Yes.
Just to apologize, we've unfortunately run out of time at this moment, but we want to say thank you for taking time to just share with us that you have, but also congratulations on your career.
Thank you so much for having me. Thanks, guys. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Shout out to my
mom.
Shout out to your mom. Bye.
So, Sasa, we are back. We're talking about back to school. Is it too soon? Is it safe? Sonbona kusasa. Sibonge.